So how's things?
Things are good. Yeah, we're back on the road. It feels great to be out again, traveling, seeing people, playing
Yeah,
music.
I was going to say, the strap line for the tours, the boys are back. I mean, how does it feel saying that?
Well, it feels more relevant than ever, I guess, after
Yeah,
not being able to tour, and I think a lot of musicians are feeling the same way. Just being back out there amongst people, it's just a great feeling.
yeah,
And in many ways, I mean, so many ways right now, with Boys Are Back. With that tour, reminiscing from 20 years back with all the bands that we used to tour around with our fans and friends who come to see us.
yeah.
But also, we're back with new music and new tour coming up, A1 tour coming up in October. We're looking forward to that. So, yeah, it feels like we're back in many, many ways.
Has it been? You've touched on the last couple of years. Has that affected your plans at all? Has this kind of comeback been delayed?
Absolutely. I mean, we were on the Boys Are Back tour when Corona came, and so the dates we're doing right now is actually the continuation of the tour we were supposed to have back then,
Right.
and then the tour we're having in October we were supposed to have the fall last year. So it's all been postponed a little bit. But on the other hand, we've had time to work in the studio and write new material, and so we're excited about that too. So we're going to do the best out of this situation, I think.
Excellent. So I mean, just going back to the comeback then, what was the thought behind that? How did that happen, and why was that now or then the right time?
Well, three of us, Ben, Mark, and myself, we've been sort of on the road for many years and doing bits and bobs, and the old, remember them kind of gigs anyway
Yeah,
for
yeah.
years. And all three of us have been writing and producing and releasing material for all these years. But then we actually just managed to get in touch with Paul again a few years back, and that's what really started the proper comeback. When we were the full lineup, the original lineup, we decided to do a tour. We did Asia, we did some gigs over here, though not like a full tour. But then we did do a tour. So it's been building and building more than like a sudden comeback. So it's just been built to this moment, and now we can really see how the sort of nostalgia effect of
Yeah.
the fact that we've been doing this for over 20 years is really starting to hit. So all these concerts, and we've been busier lately than we have been 15 years. So it's really good.
Yeah.
It feels good, and doing that, because what we've been doing for all these years anyway is write and produce music for other artists.
Yeah.
So I mean, it felt very natural to, hey, we should do some new material for ourselves as well. So that's been good.
That leads very much into the next question again about the new single that's out on Friday, Spiders.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
can you tell us about it, and how long is that a very new song, or has it been something that's been kind of in the vault?
Well, it's actually, the single's called Spiders, as you said, and we wrote it on the road on the Boys Are Back tour while in the car, and Ben was playing like a backing track that he'd worked up, and I thought he said spider. I was singing like this melody line over it, like an idea, and he said, "Oh, spiders!" Like, I didn't say spiders, but that's interesting. I was just looking for interesting words, and then we're talking about like a web, how you can easily get caught up in a web of lies.
Right.
When you start with a tiny little one, and then you have to cover up that with a bigger lie, and then suddenly you're in deep trouble. So that's what the song is about, in a relationship. But it's one of those songs from the new album that just feels really fresh, like a fun pop song,
Yeah.
and but has a bit of a deeper meaning to it. But we've written so many songs for this album, and it's all it's from the sort of very pop, modern kind of sound to it, to the very organic stuff that we also love doing, acoustic stuff. So that's coming as well. But it just felt like this. We need an up-tempo kind of feel-good song for the first. That's why we chose this one.
Okay, excellent. When can we expect new music from you then after this single?
Yeah, so the plans right now is to release the second single in the new year, I think around February, and then another single spring, and then the album will hopefully be ready to release in August next year.
Perfect. And
So hopefully there's yeah, a lot of activity going on next year as well.
yeah, like you said though, you're busy at the moment. The tour's going on at the moment. Second date in. What was it like being back on stage yesterday? It was Cardiff yesterday, wasn't it?
It's just so refreshing.
Yeah,
I mean, just being on planes and in hotels feels good. But that's been such a big part of your life for 20 years.
yeah,
It's something you can't travel, you can't see people. It just feels like such a loss. And then traveling again, being on stage in front of our fans, and it was just such an amazing atmosphere, hearing everyone sing along to all our songs. And,
yeah,
you know, it felt really great. Now we cannot wait until October when we're doing a full concert with all
yeah,
our songs. And you know what, it just feels like, yeah, we're back.
yeah.
Like
We're
you
back
said,
to
it feels like
the
we're
boys are
back in
back.
so many ways.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously older and wiser. What do you learn from your original experiences, or what did you take from that?
Well, I think it's a more enjoyable process right now, even though, I mean, we love the adventure of what happened 20 years ago. But
Yeah,
right now, I mean, there's no pressure other than what we put on ourselves.
yeah,
There's no record company telling us you have to do this or you have to do that. We have our own record company. We have our own publishing.
right,
We
okay,
have, you know, we have all the experience of 20 years that we can do whatever we feel like.
yeah,
And of course, we have a management and we have a team around us that help us, and they have opinions, and we listen to them. But you know, we're doing this out of our own enjoyment, and that we feel this music that we love and we want to get out there, and we hope that other people will enjoy it as well. But the whole process is more enjoyable in many ways. So I think that's the main difference. And also, being older and wiser, as you said, we actually are wary about uh, being present in the moment. Like when we're on stage, we can look at each other and say, "Isn't this cool, guys? This is so amazing. We're so fortunate and lucky to be able to do this and live off what we love." You know, back in the day, we kind of just hurried on to the next thing all the time, and it wasn't until afterwards we can look back, you know, and think about how cool that was. But now we can think about how cool isn't this?
definitely. I mean, you touched on your songwriting, and like you said, you've been writing for other people, and that side of it. Seeing the industry from that side, what did you learn from that maybe you didn't know before?
Oh yeah, you learn a lot from working with different artists, and you know, you learn the various pop star kind of things you don't want to do, or like opinions, and you learn to be more humble in a way. I've learned so much from being on that end of the spectrum. Yeah, also being, you know, I have a label that I write for various people, and I release songs for them as well. And I've released quite a few songs for the Eurovision for MGP, and I wrote the winning song for Norway a couple of years back.
Oh wow.
Um, so that's been cool as well. But on that side as well, just you learn a lot. And what have I learned? Basically, to be more humble and to enjoy the process. And also, I've learned all the hard work that goes behind releasing a song as a label, as a management, you know, and as a producer. So, and you think about music in a different way. You kind of think about, you know, you don't just write from the heart. You kind of think, well, what do you think people are going to enjoy out there?
Yeah,
What do you think people are going to want right now? And you know, it's not just you know, great music changes from year to year. You know what people
absolutely.
like and they listen to, and it goes in waves. And also, it's the perspective. What's the perspective? Who's singing to who?
Yeah,
About what? Those kind of questions you think about differently when writing, also for oneself now. And we do think about lyrically. So, who are we trying to reach here, and
yeah.
why? So lyrically, I think it's mainly lyrics that changes a little bit.
Okay. Do you think if you'd have had that knowledge going back 20 years, you'd have done things differently?
Uh, yeah, there's certainly some lyrics I would have changed looking back. On the other hand, you know, looking back, I'm quite impressed with what we did without the knowledge that we had. I think we were just fortunate. We were gifted. We had a gift in life, and that was we were given these melodies and these lyrics. They just came naturally to us, and we learned a lot from that as well. Sometimes, even when I look at songs today, I can look back at what did we used to do? Like what came naturally? What was our instincts telling us back then? And we can learn from that as well today. So it's interesting, and it goes in circles sometimes when you write as a professional. You have to think about, okay, what have I learned? How can I work with external and internal details in a different way? Think more like that, like more mathematical in a way. But then you always go back to what are my instincts telling me, what just feels right. And we did that without thinking back then. So we can still learn from ourselves as well.
Okay,
Our young selves.
Okay, just going back then, it's a new chapter for A1 now, obviously with the tour and the album next year. Just closing off the previous chapter, what are your favorite memories from it?
Oh, the adventure, I think, the traveling the world, meeting so many interesting people, and obviously our fans that were there for us. And I think that for me, especially traveling around like exotic places like Japan, we were in all 47 prefectures of Japan.
Yeah.
At that point, I'd been to more cities in the UK than I have in my home country of Norway.
Oh, okay.
Just seeing all these places, and just that's what I love the most. And of course, winning Brit Awards and MTV Awards and that kind of stuff, meeting all your heroes like Elton John and Lionel Richie, and there's so much. So it's hard to just say one thing. It's just a whole experience. What I don't miss is being absolutely knackered all the time. And we worked like 17, 18-hour days, 7 days a week. It was the same for all the bands. I remember meeting, bands like S Club 7 backstage. We were all on the floor just trying to find some sleep, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, wherever we could. Everyone was just knackered all the time. So I don't miss that. But it was worth it.
Yeah.
It really was.
Definitely. Brilliant. Usually just to finish, we have a kind of just for fun, a bit of a silly question, but our editor she's terrified of spiders. So it's there's quite a link there. I mean, just on the subject of spiders, could you tell us what your biggest phobia is and the most ridiculous situation you've got in because of that?
Yeah, I don't like spiders myself. So just you can still listen to the song Spiders in the same way as you could watch Spider-Man, I guess, and enjoy it, even if you have a phobia for spiders, because I really do. I don't like them at all. And I think I don't really have a great story about spiders, but whenever they come, I dislike it. And I think the scariest moment was actually last year. I was in bed, and I was bitten by a spider in my bed.
Really?
And I woke up, and I had crushed it, and there was blood everywhere, and I had the bite like in my face.
Oh, you're
that
kidding.
was pretty disgusting. That was horrible. But it wasn't like, good thing in Norway is you don't have lethal spiders. Right. So it just itches and that's it. So, but it was still disgusting. I know I killed it, but just waking up with it there, knowing it had been in my face. Oh, horrible.
Yeah. Well, I was out the other night on a photo job, and my partner phoned me up and she said the cat's come in. I'm in the house on my own. The cat's come in with a dead spider hanging off its face.
Oh no!
He won't leave me alone with this. And she sent me a photo, and it's got this spider just stuck in. And she's like, it keeps rubbing up against me with it hanging off his face, and I'm like, I can't touch it. And
at least it was dead.
Yeah, I don't know what he'd done with it, but on that note, then I think we've pretty much reached the end. It's been great talking to you. Even though you look like you've got better weather down there than we have up here in Harrogate, so a bit jealous there.
Yeah. Well, it's not bad. It's not bad. So we're enjoying life right now. And so thank you so much for your time, and thanks for having me on.
No problem.
I really appreciate it, and hope we get to see you at one of our shows in October.
Definitely. Just to finish then, I mean, obviously the fans are excited about seeing you guys back out again. Do you have any message for them that maybe can't get to see you this time and are coming in October?
Yeah, I mean, we really look forward to seeing everyone in October. We're going to make a very special show, obviously with most of our old hit songs. So I know for myself, from being a fan of bands, when I go, I want to hear the old hits. But obviously there's going to be spiders as well, and some room for something new, exclusive, that only they can see when they come. So I really, really hope. And also, it's going to be opening it up. I think it's going to be safer. And, we've all been double vaccinated now. So I think by October it's going to be safe to go out and come out, see us, hang out with each other and with us again, and listen to some old hits and some new ones.
Perfect. I think that's a great way to end.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a great show tonight in Portsmouth, and good luck on the rest of the tour.
Thank you very much. Have a good one. Take care.
Take care.